From luxurious cars and private planes to exclusive properties and resorts, here are 9 of the most expensive things owned by the American President Donald J. Trump. Number 9. Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren. Donald Trump's luxurious 2003 Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, which came with a price tag of $455,000, is rumored to be one of the president's favorite cars. One of the few Mercedes-Benz supercars, it's a sequel to the McLaren F1. Released in 2003, this beast of a machine boasts 617 horsepower and is powered by a supercharged V8 engine. Its design is classic, yet saturated in the signs of conspicuous consumption and exorbitant wealth required to own one. In 2004, the real estate millionaire had the opulent set of wheels delivered to him right in front of Trump Tower, as a presumably envious crowd of New Yorkers looked on. When he's not relying on chauffeurs, the Donald carts himself from point A to point B in style, and whether you love him or hate him, you probably at least like his car. Number 8. Trump Custom Motorcycle. It's safe to bet to say that if something belongs to Donald Trump, it's probably custom made. None of his many vehicles showcase this truth more than his custom luxury motorcycle. The powerful chopper was built by Paul Teutul Sr., one of Trump's friends at Orange County Choppers, who also happened to be a contestant on Trump's once popular reality TV program, The Apprentice. It was presented to the Donald himself when Teutul rode in on it on a red carpet. 100% American-made, this powerful machine is covered in gold plating and has Trump's name etched on the side. It's loaded with custom parts, and Teutul touted it as one of his best ever pieces of work, as Trump happily accepted it as just another priceless piece of machinery for the man himself to add to his growing collection. Number 7. Seven Springs Estate. Every millionaire needs a luxury home, or 2 or 3 or more, and the Seven Springs Estate, located north of New York City in Bedford County, is one of several on Trump's list. He purchased the mansion and the 230 acres that came with it in 1996 for $7.5 million, with plans to turn the estate into a luxury golf course. But community protest over noise and pollution concerns halted the business plan, and after 9 years of trying to get his fantasy golf course approved, Trump gave up on his vision. He was eventually given the green light to subdivide the property into 14 homes, but he left it as a personal retreat for his family to get away from the hustle and bustle of the big city. The palatial 50,000 square foot, or 4,645 square meter home, is filled with standard Trump decor, and is used primarily by his family as a weekend and summer home. It was here that Trump reportedly taught his sons, Eric and Donald Jr., about the value of hard work by having them mow grass, perform electrical work, lay marble, and do other various tasks. Whether Trump will seize the opportunity to turn the Seven Springs Estate into a housing development remains unknown, but for now, the mansion remains as is. And now for number 6, but first, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest videos. Number 6. Rolls-Royce Phantom. An avid fan of Rolls-Royce and the wealth associated with the brand, Trump is known to purchase a new Phantom whenever one is released. One of the few cars he actually drives himself, the Phantom is fully customizable to each millionaire's, or in his case billionaire's, specifications. So while these cars start at $500,000, a modest asking price in the world of the elite, they can easily sell for double when fully loaded. Still mere pocket change to the Donald. The 2015 model most associated with the controversial businessman-turned-politician is a 20-foot-long or 6-meter luxury sedan that he drives his family around in. The V12 engine takes the almost 6,000-pound or 2,721-kilogram vehicle from 0 to 60 miles an hour, or 97 kilometers an hour, in just under 6 seconds. So wherever the Trumps are going in this beautiful but audaciously expensive car, they're gonna get there pretty quick. Number 5. Sikorsky S-76 helicopter. Donald Trump essentially owns a private luxury air fleet, and his $7 million mid-sized Sikorsky S-76 helicopter is just one of his several choppers, but it's also one of his finest. First produced in 1977, the American-made helicopter typically sells for between $5 and $7 million pre-owned, according to CNBC. In 2015, as the future president was emerging to the forefront, Putting his personal life under more scrutiny than ever, news broke about how he hired famed aircraft interior designer Eric Roth to remodel the aircraft with the signature Trump look and all the finest, right down to the Trump-labeled spring water. The renovation, which CNBC cleverly referred to as "out with the old and in with the gold," involved adorning the helicopter's interior with the Trump family crest and 24-karat gold-plated hardware, while plastering the mogul's namesake on the exterior in large, bright red, impossible-to-ignore lettering. The renovations, which involved gutting the helicopter and installing all new everything, ran a $750,000 tab, a painful-sounding amount to you or me, but mere chump change to the Donald. Number 4. Mar-a-Lago. During the 1920s, the heir to the Post cereal brand, Marjorie Merriweather Post, built Mar-a-Lago, a 58-bedroom palace inspired by Spanish, Venetian, and even Portuguese architecture in Palm Beach, Florida. The complex was completed in 1927, thanks to the efforts of 600 workers, who toiled tirelessly over 3 long years to get the job done. It was even made with exotic imported materials, including close to 36,000 antique tiles from Spain and Portugal. The luxury palace even had recreations of famous Italian art and a 75-foot or 23-meter tower, which Mar-a-Lago became famous for. The wealthy empress died nearly half a century after inhabiting the home, and she left the estate to the U.S. government as a presidential retreat, similar to Camp David today. But even the government couldn't afford the property's million-dollar annual upkeep costs. Not to mention the security risk of being so close to local flight paths made the mansion a less-than-ideal place for high-profile politicians, much less the country's leaders, to hang out. In 1985, in an ironic twist that would ultimately put the nation's president at Mar-a-Lago after all, a younger Trump bought the estate for $10 million. With 3 bomb shelters, a ballroom, and even a private golf course, the property is a wealthy person's playground. Today, it's a luxury resort for the rich and powerful, with an upscale spa and exclusive membership. Trump is also using it as a presidential retreat, ironically as it was intended, instead of the more rustic Camp David. Number 3. Boeing 757 airplane. The first U.S. president to consider Air Force One a downgrade, Trump's privately owned Boeing 757 is luxury in the skies. Affectionately nicknamed the T-Bird by the man, who loves his vehicles, it of course has the Trump moniker written largely on the side, and even the pillows have the Trump family crest embroidered on them. Bought from one of the Microsoft co-founders, T-Bird is equipped with other standard Trump decor, such as gold-plated interior hardware and even gilded seatbelts. Valued at nearly $100 million, it is the 8th most expensive plane in the world. T-Bird's original parts were swapped out with powerful Rolls-Royce engines, making it incredibly fast, capable of soaring at over 500 miles an hour, or 805 kilometers an hour. On board are a guest room, lavish lounge chairs, and a gold-plated bathroom. Meanwhile, the video room is always outfitted with the best in-flight entertainment. Donald used this aircraft to travel during his self-funded campaign, but now that he's the president, he's required to travel via Air Force One for security reasons. Number 2. Trump Tower. Featured in a pre-election interview with Barbara Walters, Trump Tower is home to the Donald himself. Although Trump has since relocated to the White House and became a Florida resident, if home is where the heart is, Trump Tower is undoubtedly what he considers his home. Located directly beside Central Park in Manhattan and opened in 1983, it's a mixed-use building, housing tenants as well as public spaces, including an atrium on the ground level where various businesses operate. In fact, the addition of the atrium is what allowed Donald to bypass legal limitations on building height, enabling him to build the tower taller than others mid-town. Covered in controversy since its construction, the skyscraper is almost as divisive as its namesake. From destruction of landmarks to underpaying contractors, the tower has become the center stage for many protests since the 2016 election. Protesters have attempted to climb the tower, and for some time, access to public areas within Trump Tower were restricted and heavily patrolled by security. When he's actually there, Trump shares his 3-story penthouse residence with his wife Melania and their younger son, Barron. The entire suite is decorated in very elegant 24-karat gold, representing Trump's favorite color. Features include a diamond-covered floor, custom-painted ceilings, and even an indoor water fountain. Rumor has it that young Barron has an entire floor to himself. The lower floors of Trump Tower include the set of the reality TV show that elevated his fame, The Apprentice, even with the trademark boardroom, where he was known for firing contestants. Number 1. Avenue of the Americas Building, Manhattan and Bank of America Complex, San Francisco. Ironically, though it's not well known, Trump's most profitable business deals of his entire career were ones he tried to stop from happening. The story starts with the Donald borrowing $115 million to buy a Manhattan property called Riverside South in 1985. Designed to be one of the world's tallest buildings and the headquarters for multiple major television networks, the project soon went south, leaving the young mogul millions of dollars in over his head. In fact, Chase Bank even announced that it would soon foreclose the property. Trump's luck changed when a group of investors from Hong Kong, who visited on business related to another Trump property, were persuaded to settle his debts on this property. He managed to convince them to let him keep a 30% stake in the property, though he was not allowed to make any partnership-level decisions, such as selling. Trump went to work on the project, which was used to create the multiple condominium towers and rental properties that all bear his name to this day. However, as real estate prices increased, the Hong Kong investor group decided to sell the properties and move the money into another investment via a tax-free exchange. Trump was unhappy with the planned move. Not wanting to lose his prestigious namesake, he tried fighting the sale of the properties. In fact, he even tried to sue the investment group for undervaluing the properties, despite the impressive offers they received. His case had no weight in court, however, and Trump was unable to stop the sale, despite his best efforts. But the transaction panned out massively in his favor. The two buildings that were invested in as part of the deal, the Avenue of America building and the Bank of America complex, went on to be exorbitantly profitable. Trump's stake in the project turned his initial $4 million cash deposit into an $800 million profit, with a percentage on the rents for each building. Funnily enough, if Trump had stopped the deal as he'd intended, the mogul might have missed out on the most profitable deal he ever actually made. Thanks for watching! Are there any rich and famous people out there whose lifestyle you're curious about? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this episode. Did you like the video? Tell us what you think in the comments below, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.